What's up, otakus? It's your super otaku here. Um, Back with another productive weekend of or Saturday of comic book hunting. Um, I was on with Yen's live last night, and my apologies to him because we just had um, some issue. My son was I was trying to put him to bed because my let me back up. Uh, my wife doesn't get many opportunities to kind of hang out and do her things on her own. Um, but she got an opportunity to go out with some friends and go to a concert. And yeah, I was like, yeah, go have fun. And I was kind of normally she kind of puts him to bed. I kind of read stories, but she's the one that stays with him kind of until he gets sleepy and goes to sleep. It's kind of been the routine. Um, but anyway, last night she was at the concert, and so I was there with my son trying to put him to bed. Hey, what's up, Jens? And it took a while, but he eventually kind of he was kind of having separation anxiety with his mom being gone, and then with me putting him to sleep, it threw him out of his rhythm. And so it took some time for him to just get comfortable. You know, he was kind of worried about his mom. He wanted to text his mom and all that. And eventually he got to sleep. And then I went on live with Jens. And then because, I guess I was going to chat, he's nearby. And I was talking. Uh, it woke him up and he started just coming in and interrupting and whatnot. So again, he was just kind of chilling. I give him. He plays this game called Pikmin. So he was playing Pikmin while I was chatting, and yeah. Hopefully next week's our live next week will be a lot smoother. But that was that. But yeah, we went on live last night, Jens and I, and covering some of the books that he picked up, as well as a book he got from me. And we'll get to that. But we're mainly just excited about meeting up today and heading out to hit two locations that he had never been to, and that I had been to previously. But surprisingly, there were some changes made, and yeah, we some new books. Obviously, new books were there. We'll get into it. It was a very productive. I didn't spend a lot, but it was very productive in terms of the day. Um, so before we get to the hall, I do want to mention last weekend I picked up a box of 90s books, about I want to say about 250 uh, 90s comic books. Nothing in there really of great value, but the stuff we did that did have value, we kind of pulled out. Um, the main thing was that Jim Lee art portfolio from the 90s. It comes with a sign print. It had a sign print in there. The envelope itself is like one of 5,000 copies. Really great edition. Also, we got a bunch of key books. Um, I think the some of the bigger books that we picked up from what I'm calling now Jason's box, Jason's 90s box. For example, we picked up this book here. Where is it? I think it's in here. This is one of the bigger books we picked up, Ghost Rider. And as well as something like this, the Marvel Saga. John Romita Jr. I thought it was John Romita Sr., but it's actually John Romita Jr. who did this cover. So Jr. did the kind of homage to his dad. Picked up stuff like this out of the box. But we had like, stuff like, what else we picked out of the box? There's a lot of goodness in that box, actually. I mean, stuff that I like to collect, like a nice run of Wildcats. We had some X-Force in there as well. This Bronze Age Hulk book just kind of hanging out in there. Some Joe Kubert Punisher Warzone, just a mix of this and that. We had a Turlock the Dinosaur Hunter #1 in there. That's kind of a trending book right now, so not too bad in terms of some of the value that we got. But again, we had 200 plus books, and I kind of broke it into, I guess, like a run of Dark Hawk we had. I posted that up for sale. I posted a run of like Night Thrashers, Night Stalkers, kind of as one unit for the Blade, Blaze kind of people. Put that up on Facebook. But, those weren't really, nobody was really claiming, or, that, again, really cheap. We were giving pretty much like giving it away, and not a lot of takers. And so I kind of just was like, I gotta at least get the return on what I spent, right? I mean, in terms of the book value I got, I feel like I got the return, but I felt like I could do more. If we could sell it or trade for something additional, we'd get the books out of our hair. So I kind of give myself a deadline. If I wasn't able to kind of sell the lots or sell most of it off, I would just sell it to half price books. And half price books for the 250 some odd books, they'd probably give you like 20, not even 20 cents per book, somewhere around there. So at that rate, it's like I was probably going to get around $20 to $30 for it at half price books anyway, right? So that was always the kind of the backup plan. But anyway, Jens came and picked me up today, and I decided, hey, I know the guy at Hilla Comics. We're going to go Hilla Comics, and we're going to go to the antique store up over in Maple Valley. Or what is it? Not Maple Valley. What is it? Anyway, it's over there, kind of east of Renton. And I just was like, I know the guy at Hill Comics. I'm just gonna, Maple Valley. I'm just gonna try to get trade value out of it. And my goal was to get about, hey, what's up, Jackson? Roy Kirk. Thanks for a long time no see, man. Right. Ron's I think it's Ron's still taking his nap. But yeah, so my goal was for 250 books, just to get some trade value of it. I was hoping to get $40 to $50 of trade value, not even cash, just trade value. So I brought the books in, and I'm talking to the guy, and I basically I was very transparent with him. I'm like, you don't even have to look through. It's a lot of '90s garbage. There's nothing of real value. There is, like, if you want to complete a run of Darkhawk, there's a good, you know, run of Darkhawk in there. There's a good run of Night Thrashers, Night Stalkers, stuff that would help him sell. Like if you were to, bundle it, help him sell those. Because people, even if you price that at like $1 a book, if it's a significant run, a lot of people will tend to get that if that's something they want to add or just read. Um, so yeah, I felt like, I just told him, like, look, that's like 200, almost 75 books, and I'm just giving it to you, um, for really a good rate. Um, I kind of asked him what he wanted for it, and he just went really low ball. He's like $20. And I was like, could you do 30? And he kind of went, I could do 25. So we kind of landed on 25, and I was like, let me think about it. Because I could get 25 at half price books, probably. And it also gave me some time to maybe sell it. But, at the same time, I did want to get rid of the books, or have something, um, either get rid of the books or have some cash in hand for uh, Vancouver. So I said, hey, so in terms of, you're not going to do a trade, right? You're not going to give me extra value for a trade. He's like, no, cash or trade value. It's all the same for us. And I said, okay, so 25 cash. I was like thinking about it, because 25 cash is still better than nothing. And if I found something in the store, who knows, maybe I would take advantage. Well, I did find something in the store, and well, I guess we'll start there. We'll start with what I. So we picked up. So he had it priced. They had it priced there for $40. This book. It's in fantastic. I've never, it's in fantastic condition. There's not really much wrong with the book outside of like some really just faint kind of stains. Um, I mean, I'll put it under the camera in a minute. Actually, why don't we do that right now? Let me just turn the light on here. So, yeah, as you can see, it's a great copy when it comes into focus. Maybe it won't come in there. Let's try this again. Let it get. There we go. All right, just came into focus. So, as you can see, it's a really nice copy for a treasury size book. It's a huge book, first off. Um, and this is just a really great Statue of Liberty cover. Superman, this little kid, it's like, that's me. That was basically, this is a book from 1975. I mean, I would have been way too young. I would have been, what, a year old. But the concept is the same. It's just like, here's a kid. I was probably around this age when I watched the Christopher Reeve movie, which came out 3-4 years after this book came out. Um, but like my enthusiasm uh, for the character. Jens asked me, "Hey, when did you start collecting Superman books?" Um, I really wasn't into Superman comic books. I was more into the Superman character, the toys, and all that. And then as I got into comic books, I read a few Superman books, but I didn't really collect them. Um, I read and enjoyed them, but I didn't collect them. And then when I got back into comic books, I always had like older Superman books as a target, as well as some of the modern keys. And then as the movie got rolling, um, uh, and after it came out, I really shifted my focus to picking up more Superman and focusing it on Superman. So, um, and yeah, a book like this is just fantastic. It's such a great. First off, it's a huge book. Um, it just it's Bob Oxner. Uh, I mean, I'm not going to collect these, but this is definitely one of the covers I was hoping to get just because of the great backdrop there. Um, the Statue of Liberty's symbol is kind of there as a welcome. She's in New York, right? She's in New York, greeting immigrants to this country, right? I think her motto is like, "Give me your poor, hungry, and the immigrant" little speech. Um, and so, yeah, Superman's always been that story of an adopted immigrant, and we can't lose sight of that. There's some narratives going on trying to change that comic book narrative of Superman being an alien who comes to this planet and is adopted by humans, right? That is its core story. If you're not on board with that, then don't claim to be a fan of Superman. Um, but yeah, just again, just a really great cover, um, great collectible. These are hard to find on eBay in this kind of grade, let alone for this price. So yeah, I felt pretty fortunate to have been able to pick this up again. So again, the guy was giving me $25 cash, but I brought this book up, and I said, "Hey, would you just do a flat trade for this?" Because he would have given me a little bit of a discount on this anyway. Like he probably would have given it to me for like 30, right? So for at that time, it was just like, all right, do I give this guy $25 cash, or do I just let him take this home with him? And he's like, yeah, dude, go for it. So we shook on it, and I got to get rid of that box of 90s books for this book here. Yeah, 270 some odd books for one book, but man, is it a glorious book. So we're starting off the haul on a really high note, on a really jazzed note here. Oh man, wait till you see what we picked up today, though. It's quite incredible. Like we kind of picked off where where we left off last week with like the incredible pickups today. All right, let's get into the haul now, shall we? All right. So we hit up two locations. Like I said, I walked out of Hilla Comics with that book, just that one book. I didn't spend a dime there. Patting myself on the back. Good job. And again, I was able to do that trade, basically give up all the 90s, overflow kind of uh, nothingness, which I covered in my last haul. You can take a look. I showed off like a lot of books, a lot of kind of worthless 90s books. Um, but yeah, I was able to redirect. Again, I paid for that box of 90s books, $30 for the box. And I was able to today, again, pick out all the value, get that Jim Lee sign thing, and still get an additional like $40-$30 value book today. So all in all, really that box, good investment because we definitely made back a lot of value from that $30 purchase. Um, so the next location we went to is the old Maple Valley Antique Store. And, I went there, this was a couple summers ago. And this is when they had the comic section in a different part of the store. Like they had in the corner, they had nothing priced out, just a bunch of books in the box. And then when you would get books, because you didn't know what the price was, no one priced it. So you'd bring it up to the counter and the guy would like check eBay and price it all out there for you. And it was like you weren't getting any values or deals. They were pricing it at the counter. So I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna get this. I'm not gonna get this. I'm not gonna. I'd really, literally, only get the ones that were like kind of like he'd give me a deal on. But we ended up getting maybe like three books that we really, really wanted, and we put the rest back. Um, and so I kind of left with like, man, this isn't the best place. First of all, there weren't a lot of books to begin with. It was just like maybe, you know, they had maybe 10 short boxes, a couple like key books that weren't really slabbed. And then they had some slabbed books, but apparently they slabbed a lot of the books and they came back and they priced it out or whatnot. Hey, well, boy, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. Um, so yeah, we go in there and it's a completely different store today. It's like they, I guess, cleared a bunch of stuff, clutter and stuff out. The sports card, they had a huge sports card section that was really no longer there. I don't know what they did with that. Maybe they're doing shows now or something with that. But the comics section was just like its own little. It was like toys and comics, and they had a ton of slabs. A couple of really, I think, they weren't terribly priced. They had a 9/8 silver ASM1 signed by Todd. It was either gold or silver, in a 9/8 that was signature verified. And they were selling that for $375, which I thought was like, the book alone in that grade is like $100 plus the fees, so it's going to be 175 anyway. So you're really paying 200 for the signature on an iconic book like that. And I'm sure he would have come down in price, right? He was like, everything's negotiable. I just felt like we could have got that book for 300 in a 9/8, like signed. I don't know. That's something worth going back for if we ever have like $300 to blow. But they had some nice books in there. And then they had a priced out section, and there was nothing in there. Everything was priced out pretty much a little above book, and they expect to negotiate at the counter. They probably would have priced it just around book, or a little below book. But nothing was enticing me there. It was just kind of like your typical, you know, uh, again, there were probably some books that I could have picked up, but I would have been picking them up for book value. And I don't subscribe to that as often as I feel like I should, but it's not, it wasn't getting me going what I was seeing. But below they had 50-cent bins. They had 50-cent bins. And I was like, we didn't know there were 50-cent bins. We were kind of just digging on top. And I was like, man, there's nothing here. I'm not going to spend anything. I told myself, unless you find something really cool, you're just going to help Jens look for stuff. And, only if you find something like worthwhile picking up, should you do so. But yeah, we would open up the 50-cent bins, and there was like a whole short box of Death Below #1, the black cover, just a whole short box of that for 50 cents per copy. I thought that was funny. But yeah, a lot of the 50-cent bins was just 90s stuff, just 90s, like, like Valiant, just pretty much the stuff I gave away was kind of what was in the 50-cent bins in terms of the Jason's box. So initially I opened it up and I kind of dug through and I was like, all right, there's not going to be anything of value. But I didn't give up. I was kind of like, I'm still going to dig through all this because it's the only thing. I'm literally looking for gold at this point. And what was prompting me to do is I was looking for maybe some of those Valiant keys like Turok, the Dinosaur Hunter #1, or Magnus the Robot Fighter #1, or Man of Adam, Solar Man of Adam #1. Those are kind of trending books right now. So I was like, maybe we'll run into one of those for 50 cents. Maybe we'll run into some Jim Lee for 50 cents. But the logic was like, we're going to dig, see what we can find. And boy, did we find something. Now, we found something really big. Jens and I were just kind of like astonished. We saw it and I'm like, oh my gosh, can't believe this is in the 50-cent bin. So now the issue was there was a guy who prices at the counter. So if he were to see the book and recognize, hey, this is a big key, I can't sell it to you for 50 cents, and he looked up the price or whatever, I would have been screwed, right? So what it forced me to do was it forced me to get at least 3 more copies just to create a little stack and hide the big book in the stack and just be like, these are from the 50-cent bins. And it would at least, like, you just count them, and maybe that was the hope. He'd count it. He wouldn't look at it, in detail. He'd just look at it and be like, all right, $2, right? That was the hope, that he wouldn't find the big book that we got. And that's what happened. He didn't see the big book, and he just like, all right, $2. I paid him, and we walked out. So we're going to get to the big book. The big book is the book of the haul, but we're going to show off some other stuff as well. All right. So again, 4 books for $2, 50 cents each. Okay. These are 50 cents a pop. The first book, I guess I could show them as a lot. We picked up additional copies of Legends. I already have 2. So I was basically, once I had the big book in hand, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna create a $2 stack, like just get 3 more books. So there wasn't much there, but we did run into these books, and these are just great classic books from the post-crisis Burns' time at DC, right? Post-crisis, when he was kind of leading the post-crisis vision with some of the Superman stories, and again, this Justice League kind of reimagining. And again, for 50 cents each. This one actually had this cool Legends card in there. You can see it's like from '86. It's like a cool little DC card. I don't know why it has Captain Marvel on there instead of Superman, but it is what it is. But yeah, a 6-part epic mint, 22 heroes, 10 villains, 3 super teams. Just that kind of cool card that was in there with a comic, which is a cool, like, if I'm ever gonna like bundle this and sell it as like a lot. We did pick up the newsstand. It's pretty decent grade. 50 cents each. So these are this one, number 2, is also, it's a direct edition, but pretty clean copy. Again, I already have these. These are second, my second copies of these into the collection. But this card made it pretty worthwhile, in my opinion. So not a big loss. Yeah. And again, the goal here was to walk out with that big book under a stack of 50-cent books, and distract from the big book. The next book we picked up, and this was actually a really pleasant find. This is a variant cover from Jim Lee's Divine Right, and it's a nice Fairchild cover here. Kind of a good girl, Marilyn Monroe esque cover by Jim Lee, and I just feel like that's me. That's me, and I'm staring at because it's an Asian dude. It looks like an Asian dude. That's me with glasses, I guess. Just being creepy, and but anyway, beautiful Jim Lee cover. Um, yeah, Scott Williams, Jim Lee action here on the cover. Great cover buy for 50 cents. Again, this isn't a book you run into all that often. It is the variant edition of this number 4 issue on Divine Right. But I love me Gen 13. I love Fairchild, and of course, big Jim Lee fan. So this variant cover just for 50 cents was a no-brainer. So we picked up these 3. All right. Before we get to the book of haul, the 4th book that we got for 50 cents, Jens also was kind enough to drop in at Sir Lone Bucks in Woodinville, because Sir Lone Bucks had the Supergirl book that I was wanting to pick up. So he went all the way there and picked it up for us. And yeah, he 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 gave me the copy this morning, and oh my god, I just love this book. Now this is a facsimile. The original variant cover by Adam Hughes on this book is a big book. It's like a $600 book. It's got a very low print count, but it's an absolute beauty of a cover. And just to give you an idea of like, this is how like the previous, I think Supergirl, when Adam Hughes worked on her, it's a great cover, right? It's beautiful. It's Supergirl, but he goes full on like, I'm gonna just, yeah, and he goes full on like, gives her a uh, different feel here. It's yeah. Oh my goodness, just looking at the book is just making me crazy right now. It's such a fantastic piece of cover art. So yes, I would have liked to picked up more copies of this. There is a foil version that I was hoping to like get, and there may be an opportunity still this summer to get it. I know they're selling on eBay, but eBay's already kind of like elevated it plus shipping and all that. So it's not, you're not getting a good deal on eBay, but hopefully there's an opportunity to pick up some more copies here of the foil version. But man, how beautiful is that? So we paid what, $5 for this, the cover price for this. But I basically was like, Jens, this book is coming out this week. We got to go to Subspace or somewhere with it. I knew Subspace would have had copies, and they may still have it, but Subspace also, books like this, when they get it in, sometimes they just sell out immediately because they only order 5 or 6 copies. So if you have people buying multiple copies, it's not going to last, right? So, but Jens, thanks, man. I love this book. As you can see, I put it in a top loader. That's how much I love it. It's like, I'm protecting this baby. I was like considering getting this graded too, but grading a facsimile copy, I don't know. That's not. I just feel like that's not a good decision to do. We could always do it down the road if it retains some value or something, but as a facsimile copy, I doubt it's gonna hold any value. If anything, the original is going to continue to climb, but not this book. All right, so again, we don't have a big haul here today. We got one last book to show off, and again, it is the book of the haul. Um, and normally, the book of the haul, we pick up some big books here and there, uh, but like major keys for 50 cents, it's rare. For 50 cents, it's rare. Like half a cover, I picked up some pretty big books for half a cover, and that's still like $2.50. But this one, it was like, I just saw it. I was like, are my eyes deceiving me? How is this in the 50-cent bin? And Jens and I were like, kind of astonished, um, because this book has, I think there's a project in the works. Keanu Reeves is rumored to return in a project featuring, it's like it would be the sequel to his uh, movie from like the 2000s, which was Hellblazer, I think. No, what was it called? I forget the name of the movie, but it was where he played John Constantine. Anyway, we picked up Hellblazer 1, John Constantine's first series, the Vertigo. This is a Vertigo book from the late 90s. No, what is it? Sorry, early 1988. Jeez, this is, um, I guess, one of the first Vertigo books. That's crazy. That is crazy. But yeah, big book. Again, really decent grade too. I mean, there's, as you can see on the back, there's some, on this issue, there's a little bit of, what do you call it? There's a little bit of a indentation here in the book. I know you can't see it through the plastic, but there is. There's some minor color break here and there, but still, all in all, just fantastic condition for 50 cents. Oh man, no, right, Wilbur? Oh my god! And the thing is, like, I was worried because the guy was like, again, if he saw the book and understood what it was, uh, he would have repriced it. But luckily, he wasn't the main comic guy. And again, I basically kind of did this with the book, right? It's like I had 3 other books, and I was kind of like, all right, here, I got these out of the 50-cent bin, and you just kind of did this thing here. And it was working for me. It was in a dirty bag as well, like really dingy bag. You couldn't really make out what was in the book out of the bag. It had a 175 sticker, really yellowed sticker as well. I think I had the bag here somewhere. No, I threw it away. It was so dingy. But yeah, walked out of there with this, and whew, yeah, one of the big ads for this. This summer has turned out to be quite a fantastic year for me, and we're only like midway through, so I'm very excited about what the rest of the summer has in store, because we picked up some I mean, we've been picking up some and I attribute, I kind of joke to Jens about it that he's my lucky charm, but he really is. I just feel like I feel so blessed to, because if it weren't for Jens, I would not be going anywhere, really. I wouldn't have thought to go all the way out to Maple Valley. Who knows? Maybe I would have at some point. Sometimes when I have money burning in my pocket, I like to just be strategic. And I did this several summers ago where I would just hit up everything, just to see what they had and just to dig. But would I have had the patience to dig through the 50-cent bins? Probably not. Um, and yeah, Jens and I are now like we're on our knees. We're just like digging in the cheap bins now because they can contain some good stuff. I mean, if you're just sometimes it's luck, but sometimes it's also just patience. Um, but you can find stuff like this just kind of again hanging out and just sitting there in a dirty, dingy kind of disintegrating bag there. Um, and yeah, obviously it's Summer Supergirl. It's just been a very productive haul. Oh, and also Jens gifted us this. He picked this up from Half Price Books. There is a cool story by Kim Sano. Kim Sano did the cover here. Um, so Sano Kim does the Hell House story here, Home of the Damned story in this book. Really cool Kim Sano piece, or Sano Kim piece. And happy to add this. Thanks to Jens for that, for just gifting me that. But boy, man, whew, did we pick up some books today? Not a big haul. Again, we didn't. We only spent $2 today. $2, very well spent. We were able to again trade for the Treasury Superman, limited collectors Treasury edition. So all in all, fantastic haul. So very pleased. So yeah, again, Jens has been kind of my lucky charm, and I just want to thank him because I've just been having a lot of fun this summer, or leading up to the summer. We've been having a lot of fun just going out hunting and having these kinds of results. Like he picked up some good stuff today too. I'll let him go over to his haul, but like we're enjoying each other's company, and I think again, the fact that we're together, we're able to kind of be thorough in the store, right? It's like we don't want to rush out of the store. We kind of just sit there and like have conversation, and we're able to kind of be thorough and dig and take our time. It makes time go by much quicker when you're just having fun and hanging out. So, yeah, it's been great. And again, I just want to thank him because without him, it's we set a ball in motion, right? And he and I, the fact that we like going out together, like let's do it again Saturday, let's do it again next weekend. It's really become habitual. But we've been very thorough. We've hit up all the shops now, I feel like. So really we're just in for another cycle. Like it's been a couple months. We could go back down to Tacoma. I'm sure they've refreshed a lot of the books there. And so if we just go around and hit up every place again, things will be refreshed, and it's always fun. Yeah. My problem is I wish I had more of a budget, you know what I mean? It's like we could make this literally a weekly thing if I had a more dedicated budget. Maybe I'll talk to my wife about just having a weekly, $10-$20 or something along those lines, like maybe $40 for the month, right? And then that could last me uh, a weekend excursion just to see what's out there. So that's a conversation I'll have with her. But 40 times 12, yeah, that's reasonable. 40 times 12, it's not crazy. You know, it's pretty much what our summer budget is anyway. So if I just net it out over the weekends only, that's definitely manageable. But for now, right now, our goal is Vancouver. I want to at least take. I mean, what am I at right now? I'm at like 180. I at least want to take 100. I want to take as much of that to Vancouver as I can. It's slowly dwindling. I'm hoping to sell a few more books, uh, and we'll see what happens. But I do have another book coming. It's a double signature book that we paid $10 for. I'll reveal it when it gets here, but I got very lucky with an auction win. And I'm also checking some subsequent auctions from this person. There's some pretty nice books there. Those ones I'm picking up for Jens, and we're hoping to get them. I have to talk to Jens about what the high bid should be, but we're hoping to get those at an absolute baseline bid because they'd be really great pickups. Should we get them, you know, for the initial bid? So that's the goal right now. Just have to keep. There's a couple days left, so we just need to keep tracking that. But my other book is already on its way, so we'll try to consolidate the subsequent stuff in one package. But the book I ordered, the guy's not. Since I already paid for it, is my mistake. I paid for it, so he's shipping everything out, and that book will be here. Um, and it's a glorious book. It is a glorious book. I can't wait to share it with you guys when it gets here. All right, that is it for me tonight. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Um, yeah, just again, a reminder that you can find good stuff um, uh, at your local LCS in a dollar bin at a yard sale. You just got to look and hunt. But your Unmyung books are out there. You know, uh, all you need to do is like walk through the door, walk down the path, and put some of the effort into looking in the nooks and crannies. And again, you can find some goodness like we did today. But yeah, fantastic, fantastic haul today. So right, I had a great for $2, man. $2 and a box of books I got, uh, where I picked out all the value. And yeah, I mean, Jens, you know how I made out on that Jason's box. That's what started it all. Kind of what started this whole process, but it's been good. All right, man. Get some rest, guys. Enjoy your weekends, and we'll see you here in the next one. Peace out.